This is What If Logic, and my final video for the day will be What If Deku Knew the Three Sword Style. So, I just now got my community tab, but I just don't know what to do. I'm just gonna, I don't want to spam, but, yeah. I'm just gonna post one, or do like one or two community tabs a day, probably one, just to see what videos you want for the day, but I finally got it. Now, Deku, he is born full American. Yes, full American. No Japanese, nothing. He has, I'm gonna say like a tan mom, like a mixed mom, and a black daddy. So, Deku's just full American. I mean, there's nothing to it. So, Deku's full American, male, and his quirk is Hawkeye. Or it's basically just Conqueror's hockey. Not Conqueror's hockey, but it's like visual hockey, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It enhances your vision. Plus, if you train it like to enough, you could basically see into the future, basically. So yeah, that's basically Deku's quirk. Which, Deku, he won't train it to that point yet, but yeah. So our boy is born in America. People, they thought of his quirk as useless and about how he could only freaking see far, because that's like the only thing that the doctors could basically pick up. But Deku, he's son of basically one of the most famous martial artists. And this martial artist, I'm gonna say, yeah, he basically knows the three sword style, but yeah, he just doesn't use it. So one day, Deku goes home and he's like, Dad, I want you to teach me. And then he's like, teach you what? And he's like, the three sword style. So you know Deku's black daddy be on that three sword style. He'd be dancing around on the battlefield. I'm gonna say like, there are ranking systems in like all over the country. So All Might, he is the #1 hero in Japan, and he ranks number 5 in America. And Deku's father is the #1 hero in America. And he doesn't rank very high in Japan because he just doesn't go to Japan that much. He only went there to help All Might deal with basically All for One, but that's in the future. So basically, our boy is like, I'm just gonna say, Mr. Hisashi. He like the three sword style. You think some twerp like you could be ready for something like that? And he's basically Deku's dad, which Deku's dad knows that he has a mixture of his quirk and his mom's quirk. Which I'm gonna say his mom's quirk. Deku has two quirks. He has basically like a half and half, but like I'm gonna say like they're mixed together. Yeah, I'm just gonna say they're mixed together. So Deku can see far. He can also basically perceive things faster than normal people. So Deku's vision, or slower, I mean, basically. So yeah, basically has the Sharingan, but without the ability to copy people, and he'll be able to see in the future. Oh yeah, and I have barely any experience with what ifs. Like I only have like a month or two, and yeah, so our boy Deku, or not Deku, but Mr. Hisashi's like, your quirk allows you to see farther, kid. You think that you're gonna be able to use something like this? Hisashi, knows that Deku has a variant of his quirk, but he just wants to see. Deku's like, I want to be a hero, one of the strongest, basically. And Hisashi's like, yeah, whatever. As he's like, I want you to hold, as he gives Deku a dumbbell, he's like, I want you to hold that in your mouth for the entire day. Deku's like, huh? So Deku puts the dumbbell in his mouth, and he instantly falls to the ground, dropping the dumbbell and grabbing his teeth because he injured one of them, basically knocking one of his baby teeth out. So Hisashi's like pathetic as he walks away. So Deku was like 5 to 6, so he spends 2 years basically holding dumbbells in his mouth, getting ready for three swords. Hisashi has taught Deku how to wield a sword, so Deku knows how to use one with his hands. So basically, Deku spends 5 years of his life learning or perfecting the three sword style. Which, yeah. So Deku would be 11 now. He knows how to use a three sword style, and he doesn't know any abilities yet, but because I don't know any abilities of it, I'm pretty sure the Lion Song is one of them. But yeah, so she's like, all right, I've taught you all that I want to teach you. And Deku's like, all that you want to? And Hasashi's like, yeah, think I'm doing this for free? And then Hasashi's like, if you want to learn basically Hasashi is just like Hawk. If you don't know who Hawk is, pretty sure that Mihawk, from One Piece, he's basically like that. So he's like, if you want to learn more about the three sword style, he's like, you're gonna have to beat me. But before you fight me, you have to become a top ranking hero. And Deku's like, what? You want me to become a hero with the little knowledge I have about my fighting style, and then come back to fight you? And then he's like, yup. So Deku's like, whatever, old man. So Deku, he does know Pony. Pony and Deku, they have grown up together, sort of childhood friends. So yeah. So our boy Deku, he spends his time basically slicing entire rocks in half, and Pony just sits there and watches him. Yeah, so Deku, he's doing that for 2 years straight, just getting his strength up. He does have Pony fire horns at him, just to increase his pain tolerance, which he doesn't like to do because, yeah, those things are sharp. But yeah, so that's basically Deku's life growing up, just training. He can't use any of the other abilities of the three sword style yet because he's busy being taught by his father. And I really need to read into the three sword style first. So this is the only reason why I don't have Deku learning the abilities of the three sword style yet, because I have no idea what the fuck three sword style is, bro. I mean, I just thought it was just something cool. You hold three swords in you just use three swords. I mean, it looks cool. Yeah. So that's basically Deku's life, and up until the start of the anime, I should say, where Deku, he gets into a hero school in America, and Hasashi's like, I thought you would go to UA. Deku's like, UA? I want to stay as close as I can to you, so when I become one of the top-ranking heroes, I'll kick your ass and then learn the secret. And Hasashi's like, whatever. And Hasashi pulls some cheap stuff. Because Pony and Deku have been going to Class 1B. I mean, I'm going to get into the entrance exam of the American. So basically, in America, they have, the kids try to get, how do I say this? They basically have this people trying to get headbands from teachers, which means they have to physically take them from the teachers, which only about 50 people can get in, which means there are 50 low-ranking to high-ranking heroes. Basically, the more points you get, the higher class you get into, and if you get one from a high-ranking hero in America, then you basically just pass automatically. They put you in Class 1A. So Deku, he's basically running around, grabbing basically the headbands from teachers, because Deku fast as fuck. So, yeah, that's basically Deku's life. So, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna do I'm not gonna tell you. Sorry, I'm gonna post another video before this one. So yeah, Deku finally gets enough points, and he gets into Class 1A. But Pony, not so well. So he's like, his Pony is basically sad. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So then he gets word, after spending a week with his classmates, he gets word that he's being transferred to Japan. And he's like, that fucking old man, that fucking old bastard, as he gets transferred to Japan, UA. So this is after the hero versus villains. And Pony, she gets transferred as well, because Sashi's like, that kid's gonna freak out, so let's just send something there with him. So she gets in Class 1B, and Deku, he appears in Class 1A just before the USJ. Deku kicks the door, and he's like, as he's looking around the class, he's like, alright. As he grabs a book that teaches him how to speak Japanese. He's like, Konnichiwa. I'm pretty sure that's Japanese. If not, then chill out, okay? He's like, Konnichiwa. Yeah, that's Japanese. And you're like, he has an American accent, so they're like, yeah, this guy can barely speak English. So Aizawa, he's like, this is your new classmate. Treat him well, basically. So Deku, he walks in and he sits down. Oh yeah, for my last video, the winner of the... Actually, I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to tell you in the video. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. Our boy Deku, he gets in Class 1A, he sits down, And he looks around the classroom. And he's literally analyzing people with his conquerors, or not conquerors, but basically his visual hockey. He's looking them up and down, so basically looking at their muscle mass and predicting what quirk they have. He looks at Bakugo and he sees basically a component that's not on anyone else. He's like, nitroglycerin, huh? And Bakugo's like, what? As he's like, what the basically, like, you have a quirk, like, he's like, what do you mean? Like, do you have a quirk that allows you to smell certain shit or anything? Deku's like, nah, I can just see the nitroglycerin on you. And Bakugo's like, whatever. And, I mean, this conversation's pretty hard, so I'm just gonna say that there is technology that allows Americans to understand Japanese people a lot better. I'm just gonna say that it's like an earpiece that's connected to a book where it's like a series telling them what words or what the Japanese are saying. Whatever, okay? Just pretend that Deku knows Japanese already. Whatever. I know there was like no point to Deku using the book, but whatever. So Deku's like, I can just see the nitroglycerin off you, bro. He's like, you should stop sweating so much. Baku's like, shut up, you. Yeah. As he starts to let off explosions, Deku's like, that's pretty disgusting. You have a really nasty quirk, basically. And Baku's getting mad now. So he's like, take it outside, you bastard. And then Deku's like, yeah, you don't want to do that, buddy. And then those two are having to stare down. As Aizawa's like, sit down, Bakugo. And he's like, Zoro. Because Deku's name is Zoro. And it's a pretty cool ass name. I'm gonna say that's Deku's hero name. But he's like, Midoriya, please stop picking with Bakugo. And Deku's like, whatever. And yeah, that's how their interaction goes. A little bit of rivalry built up between... Actually, no. Yeah, there will be a rivalry between those two. So, he's like, alright. As he's telling them about the USJ, and about how they need to board the buses. Which they do. So, on their way there, people are talking about their quirks. Which Deku, he's listening with an open ear. Hearing all of their quirks, he's looking around, he's like, icy hot. He's saying this in his mind. He's looking at Frothy. And he's analyzing her facial features, and he's like, alright. She definitely has a quirk that she's basically like has a frog quirk, basically. So he's looking around, he's like, nitroglycerin sweat kid. And yeah, he's like, alright. And then he snaps back into reality, and then he starts to hear people's quirks. And he's like, alright, pretty good guess. And they're like, yo, Zoro, what's your quirk? And Deku's like, my quirk? It's called visual hockey. And they're like, visual... I'm just going to say it's called visual. And he's like, it's called visual. And they're like, visual? What does that do? And Deku's like, I mean, I can perceive things slower than normal people. I can see very far. And I have very good analytic skills. So they're like, pretty neat. And Deku's like, whatever. And Deku does have like 3 swords with him. And they're like, what is that? To make you look cool or something? And they're Japanese katanas. And Deku's like, oh, they have something to do with my fighting style. So these are hero, basically, how do you... Well, these are basically hero gear, which these swords, they're basically like the one in my Zenitsu What If, where they could turn as hard as sharp as steel, or as hard as basically I'm saying a rock, but there's a non-lethal and a lethal mode to the weapon. So yeah, Deku's outfit is basically Zoro's outfit, nothing too different, and there are scars on him from Pony's horns, which he's like, yeah. So they arrive at the USJ. Deku, he's walking off the bus as he's looking at Bakugo, and these two are just basically staring each other down, which is funny because Deku's like way taller than Bakugo. So he's like, what's up, shorty? And Bakugo's like, fuck you, you bastard, as he rushes at Deku with explosions, and he gets stopped by Aizawa. He's like, chill out. New kid, please stop provoking him. Deku's like, sorry. It's hard. I mean, since he's such a runt. And Bakugo starts to he charges at Deku, launching the explosion, which Deku, he's like, nah, B. As he basically sidesteps it. And Bakugo's like, ooh. He's like, wait, just wait. Ooh, wait until combat exams. Deku's like, yeah, whatever, kid. As he walks into the building. This is not one of my proud what ifs. I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm not pretty good, but I think I'm doing, like, terrible, but yeah, whatever. So, Deku, he is walking. He walks into the UA, or not UA, the USJ with everyone else. So he's looking around. He's like, I wonder what Pony is doing. As she sneezes in class 1B. And Deku's looking around, and he sees that the air is shifting. He's like, alright, I thought this was supposed to be hero train or rescue training. Aizawa says it is. Deku's like, alright, that looks so much like rescue training. Aizawa turns around and look what Deku's seeing, and there's a horde of villains coming out. And Deku's like, well, time to see what the Japanese people have to offer. As he jumps off the stairs, and Aizawa's like, no, as he rushes down with him. Bakugo's basically like, I'm not gonna be outdone by this bastard, as he jumps down the stairs as well. And Ida, he basically just runs out of the building like a coward. And so Deku lands on the ground, and he starts basically piecing up these villains. Joined by Bakugo, who's letting off explosions. Kurogiri would come to basically teleport them, but Deku would look at Kurogiri, rushing at him, grabbing him by his metal piece and slamming him to the ground. Where he's like, yo, explosion kid. He's like, let one, he picks Kurogiri off the floor. He's like, let one loose my way. And Bakugo's like, gladly, as he shoots an explosion off, a massive one. Which Deku, he's like, heh, as he throws Kurogiri into the explosion, and he jumps out of the way. So he's like, heh, that was pretty big. Also pretty gross. And Bakugo's like, shut the fuck up, basically. And Deku's like, whatever, kid. As he gets into, he just unsheaves his swords. So he's like, time to get serious. Because he was hitting them with the sheathed swords. So, yeah. And then Shigaraki's like, go, Nomu. As Nomu rushes at Deku, and Deku sees it. And he just barely manages to duck out of the way. I would say that he would get scratched up his eye. Which, that's how Deku gets the scar in his eye. So, blood starts to splatter everywhere. He's like, shit. So that is where I'll be ending this video off. I hate cliffhangers, but yeah, whatever. Your opinion sucks, okay? Goodbye. Time to record that one video.